And secondly, all the roads were dirt. There was no blacktop roads or concrete roads or anything when I was growing up. It was all dirt roads, and you know how dirty or muddy fields get now. Well, that's how the roads were, just a bunch of slop, and you couldn't drive your car if you tried to, you'd be stuck. But it was, when I was about your age, they started paving the first streets in Ensenada. So by the time I was out of high school, most of them were all concrete. Later we went to blacktop, but everything was originally concrete. So that gave people a lot of work. So if we did have a car, the gas stations were different. Our gas station was right down next to where the Letting Hotel is again, because that was the early part of town. There's a bunch of law offices there right now. And outside the gas station, there was a big tube-like thing that would be about as high as the ceiling. Around about this big. The top half was glass. And it went evenly divided, 1, 2, 3, 4, up to about 12. So you went to get with your car, and nobody pumped their own gas. That's relatively new. The gas station attendant came out. You said, "I'd like 3 gallons of gas, please." So he'd take the nozzle off, put it in. He'd have a pump on the side attached to this big thing that looked like a tower, and he'd watch as he pumped, and you could watch, till it went from 1 up to 3, about how many gallons you wanted. That's how they measured out what you were getting. For schools, well, people needed schools, of course, as soon as they started having kids. The first school, there's a little plaque on the corner of 7th Street and 1st Avenue South, a one-room school, first school. It was the old library, Carnegie Library later. But the first real school, which was it was built in 1882. I also went to that school in the 1930s and 40s. It was the first big school because we were starting to get lots of children. But that one school they had was 3 floors, or 2 floors plus classes in the basement. But it was all the way from kindergarten through 12th grade. That was the only school in town for quite a few years. You went there from the time you were in kindergarten to graduate from high school. And in those days, a lot of people didn't go that far. Many people, if they didn't pass by the time they were at the end of 6th or 8th grade, you went out and started working for a living the rest of your life. You didn't go on to high school. It was really big. I thought it was a great building when I was sent there. It even had a huge room, well, twice the size of Artemis, with a stage that they used for an auditorium. Of course, as the town kept growing, they had to make other schools. So there were 5 elementary schools when I was growing up. There was that one. There was an old Washington school, which is near the old new one. There was Webster, but not the same one that's there, but it was still in the same place. There was one on 5th Avenue called Bar School, and that was built in 1885 or something like that. That got very old. So when the schools started getting older and the town was getting bigger, they decided they'd build Limmer. I remember watching them build Limmer. I was going to college learning to be a teacher when it was being built, and I kept going each weekend to sort of look and think, someday I wonder if I can teach in that school that we're sitting in right now, which I got a job doing later. One of the things that was interesting about the school was of the 5